welcome to Extra Hot the Grill. We are here again interviewing some more artists to hear about their journey with faith and music and how that all collides. So thanks for joining me if you're joining us online. Hope you enjoy this interview. Got Freedom artist with us today. So welcome to the show. And your real name's Tracy. I'm gonna bait you out here. We've got Tracy.
Oh no!
His name's out. But bro, will you tell me about yourself briefly? Tell us your name, your genre of music you create, and how long you've been making music for.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So yes, as you've introduced me and baited me out, my name is Tracy. That's my birth name. Funny story, actually. My pops gave me that name because he was a fan of Tracy Chapman, and he used to think that Tracy Chapman was a guy. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
And then he said, "Oh, he called me Tracy Chapman," as Tracy, basically. From that, and then yeah, it was it's been an interesting one with me with that name here, just being a girl's name. But yeah, then my artist name is Freedom. So freedom stems from the book of Matthew 4 verse 4, which says that man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that comes out of the mouth of God. So that's kind of like the motto behind everything that I do. So I've been making music for about I'll say 10 years in total, but for Christ I've been making music since 2015. So yeah, man, still going strong, still got the same fire, still on the same mission. You get me?
I love that. And the genre of music you make is like specifically grime, isn't it, and rap?
Yeah, a lot of people will categorize me as a grime artist, which is definitely my background. That's where I came from. But I just make a wide variety of music. But grime is definitely my forefront, I would say, therefore.
And you do it well. I really enjoy listening to your music. I'm like, I have my moments where I like to listen to grime, and I really enjoy your music. I loved your most recent music video as well, Archives. That looked like such a fun day of you guys. Like, that must have been so fun to film that music video at the go-karting.
Yeah, we had so much
fun. Yeah. So tell me, what or who has inspired you with your music? Like, which other artists have inspired you along that way of making music? Who's been inspiring you on your journey?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say coming from Congo to the UK and discovering grime music in the UK was an exciting thing for me. At the beginning, I was just kind of like exposed to the US music. So I was listening to the likes of 50 Cent and Tupac and all of that kind of like was a great foundation. And then when I discovered the grime artists like Getz, Skepta, Wiley, all of those guys, I was just following that. I was just a fan of the whole movement, and it's just good to see where it is right now. And then giving my life to Christ, then I started to listen to a platform called Gospel Cypher, which introduced me to gospel music within the UK. So I was actually doing Christian rap before I knew that there was a scene around. So when I discovered other artists such as Governor B, A-Star, Marvelous, all these other guys that are doing the same thing that I'm doing, it's just kind of like, it made sense, man. So all of these are the type of things that inspires and helps me with what I produce now.
I love that. And tell me a bit about that moment, because you said you'd been making music for 10 years, but it was from 2015 that you started making specifically gospel music. What changed for you? What changed in your journey?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, my testimony is really that when I was a young guy, I was given some food by one of my cousins, and that turned out to be like an initiation into witchcraft. And that really kind of like took a toll on me from a child up until like my early 20s, basically. So within that, I just became a naughty guy. I was going down the wrong path, hanging around with the wrong people. And then my mother had cancer. Obviously, we were a Christian household. We used to pray, but I just wasn't taking it seriously. I was just doing it for the sake of like family, innit? Yeah. And then when my mom had the cancer and she passed away from that was kind of like the biggest wake-up call for me. And it really forced me to search God for myself. So I remember just being in my bedroom one time and just praying. I knew that if I didn't pray that night, something really bad was going to happen to me, to the extent of even death. So I just began to pray that day, and God revealed himself to me in a way that I can never deny. And it's like shackles came off and I was delivered from witchcraft and the life of sin that I was living. And then I gave my life to Christ. So this is back in 2015. 2012. So I gave my life to Christ around 2012. And from there, it was just like a fire burning in me. And I really wanted to share the gospel. So I was looking for ways to do it without it being something that I'm not familiar with. Because like being a pastor or something like that during that time was so unfamiliar for me. I wasn't confident with that. So it was like, you know what? I know how to rap. Can I do it for God? I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too sure. So I just did it for one of my friends. I recorded a song specifically to outreach to one of my friends. And I saw the impact that he had on him. And then since then, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for God. And then that kind of like where the journey began. And I've established the fact that there is actually a community of other people like myself here, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's absolutely amazing. I mean, you've had a bit of pain along the way as well, like with your mom passing away and stuff. But it's amazing how God met you in that and has actually used that pain to catapult you into his kingdom and what he wants to use you for. That's really powerful. That's really powerful. Now, with your music, during lockdown, how was that for you the past year? Because I know it's been a crazy year, like with the pandemic and everything, but how's that been for you and your music journey specifically?
It's pretty interesting. At the beginning of lockdown, because it's been like 2 years going to 3 years now, it's just lockdown.
It's crazy.
Pandemic situation. It's like a whole journey for me, man, because at the beginning of that I didn't know what to do. My livelihood is touring, like every summer I'm out touring, doing different festivals and going to different countries and etc. So when that happened, it was like first thing first, everything got cancelled. I didn't know what to do. I was just in my yard. And it did create an opportunity with a captive audience, because I remember I did like 2 or 3 freestyles just from my house, and it really did, like, a lot of people were engaged with that, and I saw a different kind of interaction during that time. And then I just started to live life really. I was one of the brave ones to actually propose, and now I've got a wife, so I was planning a wedding. And
amazing. That's good. So you got engaged through the pandemic?
I got engaged through the pandemic. I got a wedding through the pandemic. So now I got
wow. Home. And some people are just out here trying to survive the pandemic, and you're out here getting married. Yes. I love that. That's amazing.
So that's kind of like how the pandemic has been. It's been just a lot of real life family time of just settling down and readjusting, getting ready to see what to do next. And I'm working on a very interesting project, which I'll tell you about later on.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about that. Now, at Extra Hot on our show, I love to review music and look at the messaging behind the music, particularly in gospel music, actually. But with your music, what would you say is the key message that you want your listeners to take away from it?
Yeah, I think for me is I ultimately just want people to come to truth, in it, to know what the truth is for themselves. And then for me, I found that truth in Christ Jesus. So that's kind of where I'm pointing people towards, one way or the other. I know my audiences are wide variety. I go into schools, I go into clubs, I speak to Christians. So I try to be authentically me, but sharing Christ and sharing the truth that I have. So that's kind of my message, really, so that people can come to know Christ. That's the main message.
I love that. And how important is it for you to create music that has a message? Because a lot of artists these days just make music for the sake of making music because they have a skill or a talent. But actually, how important is it for you to actually create music with messaging that gives more of a purpose to what you do as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think that touches more into like the whole freedom movement, because like I said, Matthew 4:4, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that comes out of the mouth of God. So it's important for us to receive that word, that message, which is like our daily bread. It really edifies us, it encourages us, it inspires us to do better, because we can't just be driven by nonsense, basically, which is a lot of the time what you find within the mainstream scene, just people talking about is their reality, but at the same time, you can't be glorifying certain things. So I try to glorify what is going to edify, what's going to lift up people, encourage, give them something positive, a hope. So that's why it's so important for me to just share a message that brings that, because I know that there's a kingdom of darkness out here that's active as well. So you gotta be active on our side and share the light of Christ. So that's why we do this.
Oh, I really like that a lot. Now tell us about your new project that you've got coming up. I'm excited to hear about this. Tell us what's the latest stuff you've got out and where people can be finding your stuff.
Cool, no problem at all. So currently I'm working on a Gospel of Grime, which is a mixtape and a community tour project. So I've partnered up with Pirate Studios, where I'm at right now, and also getting support by help musicians to actually go into different communities and running music workshops, live performances, and of course performing the mixtape as well. So the mixtape will be about 10 to 12 tracks long. I'll have different kinds of features. I will showcase different artists and help empower and just share everything that I've learned over the years with other artists like myself, as well as release new music, videos, freestyles, just a lot of engaging content to come.
This is exciting. Can you give us any exclusives on which other artists you're featuring? Yeah,
sure. I've worked with my brothers and my sisters, of course. So I'm talking about Elijah. I've worked with Tanique, my brother, Unique Creation. And the production as well is done by a guy called Rich Mitch. Just brothers around me, man. So definitely go and check them out. If you go on my Instagram account,
that's where we can find it all.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see short clips of behind the scenes of me in the studio and stuff like that. So that is at Feed 'em Artist.
Yeah, amazing. And so with the community aspect of this, you're going to be going around the community and actually putting on workshops. What will that look like for people?
Definitely. So that's really my passion. My passion is in community building and youth. So what I want to do and how it looks like is basically a whole day within a Pirate studio, which have studios all over England, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Dublin, everywhere. So the partnership is really going to allow me to tour different parts of the UK, and people will be able to come into the sessions and learn maybe about rhythm and poetry, learn about how to market the music, how to go about releasing the music, how to make the music, turning the music passion into a career. So that's the kind of workshops that we are doing. And then within that, we have open mic nights, showcasing new talents as well. And I'll have supporting acts from different cities whenever I arrive in that city to support me on that tour. Then I have my friends DJ Renz, who featured on Archive, and Unique Creation, to also support me on that tour. So we have live performances of the music.
Amazing.
So before I release it on digital platforms, I want to give people the experience of it live, and then later on we're going to release it on digital platforms. So stay tuned.
I love that. That's so exciting. You've got to tell me when you're in Birmingham, because I might come down to one of these workshops. Okay.
Cool.
It sounds
no problem
amazing.
at all. It'd be good to meet you. Definitely.
Yeah, it will be really good. It sounds amazing what you're doing, and I love the hearing about like the community element of it, and actually it's passing on, and it's exactly what you're saying, like feeding the next generation with what you have and what you can give, and it's all about reproducing that, isn't it? To actually say, here's what I've learned, I'm going to pass it on. And that's it's so important that artists do that, because a lot of the time artists can be very like competitive or want to hold things for themselves and be like, no, this works for me, I'm going to do this just for my success. But it's really beautiful to hear your heart of sharing that with others, to actually empower others. That's really key, and I really like that. Thanks so much for joining me today, bro. This is amazing what you're doing, and I just love hearing a glimpse into your journey with God and what he's doing in and through you along the way, and how that's going to impact more people. So thanks so much for joining me today. And guys who are watching, guys who are watching, it's Feed 'em Artist. You've got to be checking him out online. Look out for those tours if he's coming to a city near you with some community workshops. It sounds like it's going to be good. So thank you for joining us, Feed 'em, and you take care, bro. Bye.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.